Hello students and welcome to the class. I am your history teacher Manoj Arora. Today we will studying with the next part of the chapter, that is colonialism and the countryside. But before I start the chapter, I hope you all will be fine at your homes, taking care of your family as well as yourself. Before I start the chapter, today's part, let us remind what we studied in the earlier part. We studied about how the Britishers were trying to acquire the economy of the rural areas, and they started from Bengal. They started with the permanent settlement, which could give them a regular revenue without any differentiation, without any ups and downs, a perennial source of a fixed way, a fixed revenue which they could get at the end of every year. And for that they appointed zamindars also who could do this work. But they wanted to keep the zamindars under their control. Whatever we studied in the earlier videos, on that basis we are going to start the today's point, that is the fifth report. Now what was this fifth report? Whatever activities East India Company was doing in India, it had to give a regular track of that record to the British Parliament at the regular basis. And this report was fifth in the series, that's why it was called fifth report. It was submitted in 1813. All the details were submitted on administration and all the activities which were done by East India Company in India. Actually, according to the Royal Charter, East India Company had got this permission to do the trade with India and China, and it had the monopoly over this. It was around 1002 pages long report, out of which 800 pages were appendix. It had the kind of various archives, newsletters, it had the complaints of the zamindars, of the rayats and so on. It had the petitions of the zamindars and the rayats, the district reports of the collectors, the table of the revenue returns, what kind of returns they were getting, in what terms they were getting, because this all record was to be submitted in the British Parliament, and each and every report was debated in the British Parliament. Notes on the revenue and judicial administration of Bengal and Madras, as everything started from Bengal, so whatever they were doing. But there were many in the British, in Britain, many people were there, those who were not satisfied with the activities of East India Company. 1760s onwards, East India Company was submitting these reports regularly. And 1813, this fifth report came, which is considered very much valuable, for the historians also and for the researchers also, if they wanted to know about the rural India under the British, under the colonial period. The monopoly of East India Company over India and China trade was debated. There were many private traders in Britain, those who wanted the share in this trade. They could see how profitable it was to do the business with India and China. But because the Royal Charter had ordered only East India Company, so these two countries were under the control of East India Company, whereas the other countries also wanted a major chunk of profit out of this trade. They wanted the revocation of the Royal Charter. The Royal Charter which had given the monopoly to East India Company to do the trade with India and China. Many argued that conquest of Bengal was helping the East India Company only and not the Britain as the whole. It was not helping Britain, rather it was filling the pockets of East India Company, and the stories of the maladministration, greed, misrule, corruption of East India Company were often debated, and on that basis only a series of acts were passed. Under these acts, it was made compulsory that East India Company would give the regular report of its activities, the various activities which they were doing in India, and committees were set up, and select committee was one such committee which produced the fifth report. Now the historians consider this fifth report very much valuable if they wanted to know about the rural areas under the colonial period. But again, who wrote this report? Why? The East India Company officials were writing this report in order to present in the British Parliament. Now, can we accept this record uncritically? Can it not be biased? So, the historians say, no doubt it's an invaluable record, but it cannot be accepted uncritically. There are certain points because it would have been biased. The East India Company would have always tried to show their power, their control. The report versus archives. The historians tried to compare this report with the archives. Archives means a whole group of letters, newsletters, petitions. The entire treasure of all these things was called archives. The local records which were produced as well as the administrative records of that area were compared with the report whether they were right or wrong. There are certain points where we feel that this report has exaggerated the issues. Like the fall of the zamindari system, it was not at that scale as it was shown in the fifth report. Moreover, as many zamindars whose zamindaris were auctioned, we studied that it was not easy to remove them from their zamindaris. Although the properties were auctioned, but it was not easy because the zamindars had found their own ways. They were transferring the properties to their mother or wife's name. They were going for fictitious sale, and they were also had a lot of power lathyals they had. So it was not easy every time to displace the zamindar from their zamindaris. So at some point we see that fifth report exaggerates the issue. I hope you must have understood this chapter, this part, this topic today. Today we will study till here only. If you have got any problem, please do let me know. Please write your name, class, section and roll number in the comment box. If you have got any problem, mention in the comment box. And if still you have got problem, you can come to me in the online sessions which are arranged by the school at the regular basis. Read NCERT books at a regular basis. That is a must. Thank you very much. God bless you.